Hi everyone, this is Leah from Manuscript Manager and welcome to our tutorial on configuring the review section for your online journal. In order to show you what we'll be configuring today, I'd first like to go in as a reviewer and show you from the reviewer standpoint. Here I've logged in as a reviewer and I'm going to accept to review this manuscript. And now I'm brought into the actual section which we'll be configuring today from the Editorial Office side. The first tab in this section shows the guidelines for reviewing for this journal. The second tab includes all of the manuscript documents in order to get familiar with the manuscript itself. The third tab is the actual review or evaluation form, and if we scroll down we can see that the default settings include a section for comments to authors, a section for confidential comments, a few questions, which can always be made journal specific, a section for an overall score or rating, and a section for a recommendation. The reviewer would save and continue, and then click the send button. And of course right now everything is pink and I'm unable to send because I've not actually completed the review. But this is what the reviewer sees when they log on to review a manuscript. Now I'd like to change roles and go into the administrative role for this journal. It might be called Editorial Assistant or Editorial Office for your journal. And that brings me into the dashboard where I have access to the Configure section. And here I am in the Configure section where we see all of the different sections of our online journal which can be configured from the administrative side. I'm going to click Review. And you'll see that that brings us into this page here with three subheadings. The first subheading is Reviewer Guidelines, and that's what we're looking at right here. These are the guidelines the reviewer sees when they accept to review a manuscript. We just saw this from the reviewer perspective. You can leave these guidelines if they work for you. You can click in and edit or delete as it suits you. You can also copy-paste a separate set of guidelines or link to your website's guidelines. Then you would click Save. And that brings us into the actual review or evaluation form. Now when I scroll down on this page, you'll see a number of elements, each one outlined in a light gray box, but they each also correspond to what we've just seen from the reviewer perspective. These elements may suit your purposes, but if they do not, there are a number of configurability options on this page. First of all, you can add an element by using this button at the bottom of the page. And if we click that, you'll see that you get to select the type and etc. You can also delete an element by clicking the delete button to the right of each element. And you can change the order of the elements by using these drop-down menus to select which order the elements should be in. And you can also edit the attributes of a particular element. Now to illustrate that, I'd like to come into the recommendations available right now. Let's just take a look. We have recommend accept with revision, recommend reject, and recommend reject but resubmit. Supposing we would like to change that, we could click Edit and Add Attributes. That brings us into what are referred to as the attributes, the options available to the reviewer, which they can select. And we can delete an attribute. Let's suggest deleting this one right here. Reject but resubmit, delete. And it disappears immediately from the list. We would save and return and see that it were no longer there. We can also type right into the existing attributes if we'd like to change the wording. And save and return. Let's go down and make sure that those changes took place. There we have recommend accept, revise, and reject, three very definite recommendations now. And just to be extra sure, we can also use this user view button to view from the reviewer's point of view. So here we are again at the reviewer perspective, and down at the bottom in the recommendations section, we see that our changes took place. Return to form. So all in all, there are a number of options. If any element on this page does not work for the purposes of your journal, it can be added, deleted, or edited to your liking. And if you need any kind of help with that, you can just contact us at Manuscript Manager and we'll be happy to help. I hope this gave a nice overview of the options available to you on this evaluation form page. And the last subheading in this section is the marked up documents. Now, when we looked from the reviewer perspective before, we did not see this section because it's not been turned on. But if it's valid for your journal, if this is something that makes sense for you, you can switch this section on, and there will be another tab page from the reviewer perspective where a reviewer could potentially upload a marked up document for the author to see. That concludes the overview of configuring the review section of your online journal, and thanks for being with us today. Bye-bye.